Hello and welcome. It's Nomadic Shaman here. Thank you for visiting my page. All right, let's just go ahead and jump in. So, we're in the year of February of 2020. This is right before the onset of the pandemic. And your girl's single. Okay, so I'm not dating anybody. I'm not even talking to anybody of substance. Okay. I did meet, I'm not going to front, I did meet a couple of people on OK Cupid, but it wasn't like a love match. Okay, so when it's not a love match, I keep on scrolling. Okay, I keep on scrolling, scroll left, scroll left, scroll to the right. But anyhow, your girl was on OK Cupid. Now, while I'm on OK Cupid, there happens to be this one guy that I happen to match with. The guy that I ended up matching with, he was fairly young. He looked young. He was light skinned. He had locks, maybe like mid back of his locks. He looked attractive. Not my usual that I go for, but he was attractive, and I was just like, oh, okay, he's cute. So let me just click like. Well, I think it was like maybe a week or a weekend or maybe 2 weeks. He hit me up and he sent a note. And the note basically was just like, hey. Now, mind you, this guy, he was like in his late 20s. So, what you call him, a YN? And my ass was in my 30s. I was in my late 30s, okay? Late 30s, like 37, I think I was. I was 37. I think so. Either 37 or 38. One of those. So, because it was right before my birthday. Okay. I'm not going to count. It was one of those. Either 37, 38. Because it was right before my birthday. So, anyhow, I clicked, match or whatever. And then we exchanged a few words. But I'm like, he's young. I'm like, I'm not really going, give him too much time, give him too much play. At the time, mind you, I was not looking for a serious relationship. I was actually looking for a connection, somebody to chill. And if all things work out right, like a physical relationship, I'm going to keep it 100. Okay? If it worked out right, then yeah, there's a possibility that it would turn into a physical relationship, but it was just like a connection to chill and like that. If I'm keeping honest, somebody that I can connect with, I can talk with, see if they're on the same level, go out, do things with, and if something happened, well then so be it. But was I going in looking for a serious relationship? No. Okay, so there's that. So, anyways, I didn't really give him a dime that much play because I'm like, he's young. He's younger than I usually go for. And so I just let it sit for a while. But mind you, dude was persistent. And I think it was like 2 or maybe 3 weeks into it. I really wasn't responding, but I think 2 or 3 weeks into it, he hit me up again. Now, at this time, I completely X'd out one of the dudes that I was talking to. Okay. So I completely had X'd him out. And the one dude I'm speaking about, it was strictly on the app or the phone or us talking. We had not even met up yet. But at that point, I realized that, yeah, no, it's just not going to work out. But we were cool, no harm, no foul with him. Now, as we are, somewhere along the line, I found myself talking to him more. Okay, so we start exchanging conversations. Now, I believe I had a Google Voice number that I always used as part of online dating because you never truly know what you're getting on the other end. And yes, that can go the same case, somebody from physical, but I digress. Anyhow, so we exchange numbers and texting, and then next thing you know, we had agreed to meet up. Now, our first meeting, here we go. Our first meeting was at my place. Okay, so when I first was talking to him, I think it was early February. We decided to meet up. I think it was like the last week of February, okay? So, but mind you, usually when I do online like dating, I usually have like a series of questions that I ask, especially if I'm looking at you seriously. But for him, the main questions was just like, are you in a relationship? Do you have any children? If so, how old? Because if a guy has a child that's a certain age, yeah, I just won't do it. Past experiences, okay, I just won't do it. So then I would also ask, are you married? Are you engaged? Are you living with anybody? Like, these are the preliminary questions that I usually ask everybody that I meet, okay? I also was talking about, well, what does what does your health look like as far as like your sexual health? Because I happen to be very open in that, as far as like, hey, lay everything out on the table. Especially if it's somebody, this is both somebody that I may be interested in as far as like a relationship, or somebody that I'm interested in as far as carrying on a physical relationship. If I can't openly speak to you about health concerns, specifically sexual health concerns, then it's just not going to work for me. So I did facilitate that type of conversation. I was just like, hey, when was the last time you were intimate? When was the last time you were intimate, and have you gotten a test since then? And what was the test? What was the results of the test? These are some of the questions that I ask. Sometimes I don't ask when was the last time you're intimate. I just ask when was the last time you got tested and what were the results, okay? So, and that's basically what I asked, and he answered some of the questions. He answered actually all of the questions. And I was just like, okay, cool. And so I just laid it out on the line, and I said, well, listen, this is like one of our first conversations that we had was just so that you know something about me, the type of person that I am, is that if I were to ask you a question in front of your face, don't lie to me, okay? And don't have me find out any information about you from someone else, about you or about me. Like, in other words, I expect you to be able to communicate with me as far as what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That was my approach. That hasn't always been my approach, but that was my approach. In that, let's have a open, candid conversation, in that I don't want to find out anything about you or about me from someone else that's not you, okay? If that happens, we good. If you're capable of having that conversation, then we're good, okay? So this is how it started. Now, at this point, we're chilling, we're cool, we're talking and everything, and fuck it. I'm gonna just keep it all the way real. So then at a certain point, why is this happening for this? They're saying take this off. Hold on, guys, hold on.